It won't be there.
At 8:45.
That's the most important thing.
Plus.
So I got places to go sleep.
Because I've done exactly what a lifetime ago. It was exactly like it. How you doing, Kyle?
seconded by Hoff. Any comments, questions, discussion? All is in favor?
Aye.
All is opposed? All in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Eugene, if you'd like to introduce our audit presenter, please.
Okay, this is a representative from Waterbond, this comments. Aaron?
You're good. Oh, go
Floor
ahead.
is yours.
Oh, okay. Like you said, my name's
we can't
Erin
hear you.
Sordo. Oh, well, that's not ideal.
Okay.
One moment.
She got mute on.
Can you hear me now? No. Can you hear me now?
No.
No? Oh, no. Yes, no? Yes, no?
Can't hear us?
No?
The best.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Can you hear me?
No,
No.
Shoot.
Rick Rowling.
Oh,
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi. I was
We can
like,
hear you now.
Good. I was like, I just did a Zoom board meeting the other day and I had no problems. So, okay, good. Well, now that you can hear me, my name is Erin Sordo. I'm from Lauterbach and Amen. I've been with the firm for probably a lot longer than I'd like to say, but I've worked on your audit. It's been a very long time, but I work very closely with people who did work on it this year. And it was Courtney and Steve, and they wanted me to pass along my thank you to Eugene and the whole team, anybody who helped prepare for the audit, because the only way we can ever get this done on time any year is with all of your help and preparation and the time it takes on the day-to-day throughout the whole year, and then all the stuff that happens on the back end to wrap it up and get it ready for audit. So we really appreciate all the work you guys do every year to make this go smoothly. So Courtney wanted me to be sure to pass on a big thank you, and I'd like to thank you as well. Um, so just a kind of a brief sort of overview of what I'm going to go over. I'm just going to touch on, you should have your financial statements in front of you, along with a couple of the client communication letters, your management letter, and your SAS 114 letter. I'm just going to skip the SAS 114 letter altogether. It's just a standard audit document that we have to prepare, so I'm not going to bore you going over that at all. I'll just do a very high level overview on the financials really quickly. And then I'll briefly skim over the management letter. There really wasn't anything crazy in there at all, so I'll just touch on it just to go over it. But I doubt there will be any questions on that. It's pretty straightforward. But if at any point anyone has any questions, feel free to stop me. I'm happy to do my best to answer any questions that I can while I'm here. I've gone through your financials, so I kind of have a bit of an idea. But otherwise, I'm just going to get started first with the financial statements. The first thing we're going to talk about is obviously the audit opinion. That's why you hire us mainly. Like, one, it's to help make sure the financial statements are good, but two, this is what you're looking for, our final opinion. And if you look on page 4 of your report, there's that first section there titled opinions. The second paragraph, that's where we give you your unmodified opinion. That is the highest opinion that we can give. That means we looked through everything looked great, and we gave you a little gold star. So that's what you were going for. Then quick high level of the financials themselves. So you have your 2 sets of statements. We're going to go to your first set, your entity-wide, which is on pages 22 and 23. On page 23, you can see your net position down there at the bottom. You guys have a really strong unrestricted net position, which is obviously the net position that you can use more freely than obviously you're restricted or you're invested in capital assets. So you're at 4.6 million, just shy of that, which is roughly 42% of your total net position of 10.9 million. And that unrestricted amount is actually up from last year by about 333,000. So you guys have a really strong net position. Then overall, the next 2 pages, this kind of shows your changes from last year to this year. Overall, your net position was up 534,000 from last year. Most of that was in governmental, with 348,000 of that being specifically governmental increases. And then 186 came from your business type, so your water sewer activities. Now on a fund level, these are kind of your, fund level financials. These are what you see on at your monthly meetings. It's more current financial assets, not so much long-term focus. If you look on page 28, this is your income statement, your changes from last year to this year. Your general fund, which is your main operating fund, was down about $1 million, but all of that and some was due to a transfer out of unrestricted reserves that you have built up in the general fund and a transfer of that to the capital projects fund. It looks like you guys might be gearing up for some future capital projects, really strengthening that capital projects fund. So you've got the funds available to do future capital projects. So that decrease of 1 million in the general fund is nothing to be worried about because all you're doing is shifting it into a more forward, future focused fund, which is great. And overall, across all governmental funds, you were actually up about 97,000 from last year, which is perfect. Everything looked good. I didn't see anything that stood out to me as, not going so well. Everything looked great. And then the page, 2 pages before that is your balance sheet. And you guys have a really good, really strong cash position at about 3.2 million. And most of that, like I said, relates is in your capital projects fund. Again, it looks like you guys might be working towards some future capital projects here. So it makes sense that that's where the bulk of your funds are sitting at the moment. And we already talked about your increase in your water sewer fund, so I won't touch on those again since you only have one business type fund. So it's the same change here as you saw in the front. So that's brief, like I said, very high level of the financials. Before I move on to the management letter, does anyone have any questions on the numbers themselves? No. Perfect. Okay, well then we'll just hop over briefly to the management letter. You guys will see that there's one new current recommendation. So we have your comment section broken up into 3 sections. Your first section is current recommendations. Those are new ones that have come up in this current audit cycle. Then you have your prior recommendations, and these are ones that came up in years past, whether it was last year or years prior, that we reevaluate for this year. And they're either implemented because we found that they were all good this year, or they have not been implemented and they'll be repeated again this year. And then finally, it's your new GASB pronouncements. So we'll go through each page really quick, but they're really, like I said, they're very straightforward. This first comment here in the current recommendation section, this is not anything specific that the village was doing wrong. The reason that we gave this is we're kind of given our current climate of just overall IT security and just the importance of it. It's something that we as a firm have determined that we're giving to all of our clients just as a reminder of how important it is and how much, especially on a financial side of things, it really matters. And so we're throwing it out to everywhere. Again, I just want to reinforce that this wasn't anything, we didn't go through and find any major weaknesses. It's just something that we wanted to make sure we highlighted this year and to make sure you guys are always thinking through. The next page is your prior recommendation. This is something that had come up last year. It looks like last year the motor fuel tax fund was over budget by about 27,000. You can see here on the status that this year none of the funds were over budget, so we considered this comment implemented, and now next year this comment will go away. And finally, the last page here, you've got 2 upcoming GASB standards. One is due to be implemented next year, and that's this first one, GASB 102. This is more of a report disclosure side of things. So as far as big work that you'll need to do in preparation for next year's audit or big potential number changes or additional liabilities that may be added to the books like we have had in some recent GASB disclosure or GASB pronouncements, this one is more just reporting. So we might have a couple extra questions come audit time next year, but I don't anticipate this one being a big one for you guys. And then GASB 103, this will be due for the following year, so FY27. This one might have bigger changes, but again, it's more so on the reporting side. Things like your MD&A and some of your financial schedules in your report itself will be changing a little bit. And it's more of a requirement of what we need to disclose. So there's probably going to be extra stuff, more work for us. Not so much for you guys, but more work for us. So we're getting more details on that and what all that is going to entail. So next year, come this time, we might have a little more information for you. But this is more of just an awareness that these are coming and just to be ready for them when they're here. So And that was it for the management letter. I told you it was very straightforward. Does anybody have any questions on that one?
No, thank you.
Awesome. Okay, well, that's all that I have for you. So thank you guys for having me and have a good night. And if you need anything else from me, let me know and I'll hang out.
Thank you very much, Erin. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Have a great rest of your night.
Nothing. Oh, good.
Bye.
Thanks. Sorry, folks. I switched out the wrong page. All right, so we just had this audit report and presentation. I did pass over the minutes from last week. May I have a motion to,
accept the audit.
I needed to go back to the agenda.
Okay,
Yeah,
this one.
okay. Discussion and motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of October 20th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Kennelly. Second,
Second.
seconded by Diatley. Any comments, questions, or discussion about the regular board meeting minutes from October 20th? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Thank you. Now getting back to the matter at hand, we have the fiscal year 2025 audit report and presentation, and we need to accept it.
Need to accept it, that's what I can.
May I have a motion to accept the audit report and presentation for the basis of publishing? So moved. Second. Moved by Schatzberger, seconded by Thomas. Any comments, questions, discussion?
Just one.
Please.
Motor fuel tax was over budget?
That was not this year, that was the year before.
Okay.
So what it is we do our best to estimate what it's gonna cost us, and then sometimes we were within 10%. So we,
Okay.
yeah, but it was over what we had originally estimated to be.
And then the other thing that was mentioned was operating grants.
The what?
Operating grants, 145,000. I don't know what grants look like.
We had the ARPA
Okay.
grant,
That was,
or the DEPO grant, yeah,
that was 200.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, this was 145. I can't think of a grant that I've ever heard of, so.
The only grant that we really had was the DEPO and the body camera and the this one for the cars. I think wasn't
With the bulletproof vest one, that's the
Yes.
annual one, and the body cams. Yep.
Anybody else? Hearing none. Let's see, for the audit report, it's not mandatory. So all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All affirmative, no opposed, motion passes. Thank you, everybody. All right, back onto the president's report. Get back to the page. All right, first matter I'd like to bring up is we all saw some interesting new votes on the agenda for tonight. Last week, we only had we had 3 trustee members on board, physically present, plus myself. The 4 of us constituted a physical quorum. However, in our ordinance, you have to have a concurrence of the majority for, let me read it for you directly. Sleepy Hollow Ordinance, section 154H4, the passage of all ordinances for whatever purpose and of any resolution or motion, specifically under B, for the expenditure appropriation of its money, shall require the concurrence of a majority of all members elected to the village board. We are a board of 6 trustees, 1 president, so a majority of that would be 4. Upon advice of council, speaking with Mark, 4 votes would count. The 1 vote that we had last week with respect to the text amendment for self-service storage units, not last week, last meeting. We had an affirmative vote of 3, 0 negative votes, and 1 abstention. The 3 plus the 1 in this case, they count towards the concurrence. So that the self-service storage unit was a valid vote. The other 3, however, where we approved the warrants, we approved the $200 donation for Shop with the Cop request, and then the ordinance. We had 3-0 votes. My mistake, they were roll call votes. I did not vote aloud, and I should have. as the fourth vote in order to get that formal concurrence for those. So we are going to, technically, they weren't failed votes, they just were void, non-existent votes. So I'm going, later tonight, I will ask the board to call for another motion. We will go back, not redo the votes, we will just do the vote as though it had never happened. So that's with respect to that. It has been the end of October. We had Halloween, basically 2 weekends in a row, which was pretty awesome. Halloween in the Hollow Service Club, always outstanding job. I had a blast decorating pumpkins with all the kids at the pumpkin decorating table. Loved all the costumes. Please, if anybody's listening, if you know of the girl who won the Queen of Hearts contest, or she was wearing a Queen of Hearts costume and she won her age group contest, she left her red gloves at the pumpkin decorating table, and I have no idea who she is. So Queen of Hearts, please tell your neighbors. I'll give those to the service club. Yeah, I loved having the smells of the chili cook-off. I thought Maria did a great job getting so many fun vendors for that event. And as always, thank you to the chief, Rutland Dundee Fire Department for keeping us safe, making sure the fire didn't spread. We appreciated that. Then a week later, we had Halloween proper. And as usual, we had some mixed reviews as to how many trick-or-treaters we got. I was super sad our numbers went down as well in our cul-de-sac. I was yelling at them to come our way, but they didn't. So I know a lot of people are frustrated. I think we had an uptick in some of the areas. So a lot of people have been discussing, like, let's put together a map, let's encourage it more. So I'd like to, if you are interested and you want more trick-or-treaters, people, here is the time. Tomorrow is the new members night for Sleepy Hollow Service Club. Please go to Diamond Gyms at 7:30. Meet the service club guys, see if there's anything you can do to help out, and let's make Halloween even bigger. I mean, we do live in Sleepy Hollow. It should be a pretty big festivity. So we'll see if we can get that better next year. And it's on a Saturday next year. So it should be an even bigger event. We had our first Sleepy Hollow invasive removal work day this past Saturday, right after Halloween. We did intentionally keep that fairly low key. We didn't advertise as much because we just wanted to keep it smaller so we could kind of work out some of the kinks. And it was wonderful. Trustee Schatzberger, Clerk Ree and I, and then their husbands were all down there. So it was 5 of us. It was right over by the creek over there on Sleepy Hollow and Thoroughbred. And I would like to share with you. So we took down a lot of honeysuckle, buckthorn, and oriental bittersweet. I understand a lot of people sometimes get nervous when we're cutting down green living things, thinking that we're killing stuff. The reality is what we're cutting down, these invasive species, are actually killing the plants that we want and smothering the plants that we want to grow here, which is why I happen to bring in a big stick tonight. So folks, this is actually one of the sticks we cut down on Saturday. This is Oriental Bitterroot. And Jen, can I borrow your water bottle for a second? So what this does is it has a tree and it winds its way around it. And the thing is with trees, they get all their nutrients from their bark. This is like their highway for their nutrients, their water, and all of that. So if you have this vine wrapped all around it, it's cutting off that entire, it's asphyxiating it, it's starving it, it's taking away its water. So that's what the reasons we're trying to take these down. This way it helps us keep our native trees in. We rescued, I think that one, do you remember what the big one was? The big monster? Was that the ash or willow? It wasn't the willow.
No, the willow was the one that had the, was being suffocated by a honeysuckle and a
Oh,
buckthorn.
down by the creek. Yeah.
It was an ash.
Okay, so we were able to clear out a lot of honeysuckle from underneath it. And then while we were doing that, we exposed 2 oaks, elm, just a bunch. I'll have Rhonda report more to that, but I really want to show you guys this curved word. When you hear invasives and natives, sometimes you're not quite sure what it means. They're literally wrapping themselves around the trees. And then with honeysuckles and buckthorn, they grow into kind of a bramble and it's a very thick thicket, so to speak. You crawl underneath and you're almost sitting inside a fort. I feel like very much like a kid. And you have to cut these down because what they do is they cover all of the sunlight coming down for all of your lower plants so that baby oaks, baby elms, they can't get the sunlight in order to grow up. And then sure enough, we discovered some native flowers down there that we didn't think were around here. So we have a nice little thicket or patch of those. Long story short, folks, we were having another one on Saturday. I'd like to encourage everybody to please come out and join us. You definitely want to wear long sleeves, long pants, heavy duty shoes, please, and gloves. Please bring your clippers, your loppers. And if you would like to chainsaw, we certainly could use the assistance. Only criteria is you need to bring all of your safety gear. We need chainsaw chaps, your sound, your cover your eyes, boots, so that you're safe. But we'll be meeting out here again at 8 AM in the Village Hall parking lot. And we'll be cutting down and clearing honeysuckle, buckthorn, bittersweet. And then I've now collected 18 oak trees from residents around the village to plant. And we're gonna try and come up with a plan and get some of those planted either along Sleepy Hollow Road or in our parks. Lastly, I did want to say I won't address the whole matter tonight, but I want to let those out there know with respect to the wastewater flat rate meter fee, we did just receive an email today. There was a lot in there and they asked that we respond by the 15th, so I'll be getting back to them. But yes, the fee increased at the last meeting from 100 to 150, and I'll reach out to those residents and speak to them. Lastly, I had a wonderful meeting with 2 of our residents who are interested in having sheds. And in talking with them in prior months during the campaign and earlier, I asked them to hold off for a little bit so we could get our bearings. And now that we're coming up on the winter months and less outdoor work to be done and we can research and discuss, we're looking to set up a shed subcommittee, so to speak, for the planning and zoning. Please do not be alarmed. This is to get conversations started. We really want to bring in people who are for sheds and people who are against. Over the past 40 years of my family being here, the numbers have slowly grown over time of people who want sheds, and the number of those who are vehemently against has gone down. It's not a clear thing. It's closer to 50-50, 40-60. So, but I think at this point, it's worth the discussion and see what is it that people don't want, what is it that people want, and see if we can find a common ground. And that's the point of this committee, to kind of hash out some of those details. And then to see if we can't get a solid plan on that P&Z would entertain and consider, and then it would be broached by the board. So this is the early stages, but we're looking to get that started, hopefully beginning of the new year. So if you're interested, please reach out to myself. Please reach out to Kelly Thomas for P&Z, although really either one of us. Or if you happen to know some individual on Facebook who are heading up a shed interest party, you probably know who I'm talking about, reach out to them. So yeah, that's where we are for the president's report. Clerk report. No report. Thank you. Actually, sorry, I'm going to add one more thing. There's been some comments about some difficulty with communication lately. The board has just undergone an upgrade with their computers. They were without them for about a week or two since the first meeting that they turned them in. And now that they've received them back, with the upgrades, we've been having a little trouble accessing things. So our apologies if there's been a delay. It has been apparently over the past 3 weeks, and with us not being able to communicate as well, that communication was not communicated. So thank you. We've got our computers back. We're working on that. All right, no clerk's reports. No building official at the moment. We are working on that. Attorney's report.
No report, Madam President.
Thank you. Engineer report.
Just want to let you know the street program is done and completed.
Thank you.
We will be talking to Kyle and everybody else to figure out what we want to do next year.
All right, thanks. Village administrator report.
A motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $129,375.33.
So moved, Diatley. Second.
Moved by Diatley, seconded by Bill Hoff. Any comments, questions, or discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Thomas.
Aye.
Trustee Schatzberger.
Aye.
Trustee Cannelli.
Aye.
Trustee Hoff.
Aye.
Trustee Diatley.
Aye.
6 affirmative, no negative, motion passes.
Okay. I am announcing the amount of the levy for this tax year. It's $983,727. It is an increase of I think it's the 2.9%. That was recommended by the Finance Committee. It's broken down between the corporate, the liability insurance, the audit, Parks and Rec, Social Security, police protection, and street lighting. We also have an SSA, but we are not having any requests for that SSA. So we have to announce it 20 days before we can pass it. So we will have the vote on the tax levy on the first week of December.
Thank you.
Could you run that number by me again? You said
$983,727.
The board should approve that probable levy by motion and vote tonight. It's not the final ordinance, but Just puts the tag on.
All right, to just accept the amount.
So,
Okay.
accept the amount.
May I have a motion from the board to accept the 2025 tax levy in the amount of $983,000, $983,727.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Bill Huff, seconded by Thomas. Any comments, questions, discussion? This is just accepting the amount, and then we'll have the proper ordinance to vote on in the first meeting in December. Hearing none,
I'll take a roll call,
roll call vote, please.
please.
Trustee Diatley,
Aye.
trustee Cannelli,
Aye.
trustee Thomas. Aye. Trustee Schatzberger,
Aye.
trustee Hawk.
Aye.
All affirmative, no negative, motion passes. I said 6 affirmative earlier, I meant 5 earlier to that prior vote. For that one. Right, anything else, Eugene?
Not at this time. We'll have some more
Brilliant.
business later on.
Thank you. All right, we're at comments from the public. Looks like you guys have the same name. Pete first, please. And you're just the same name.
Here's my notes. Much more abbreviated. Basically, when I asked for a little additional clarification in the, well, for lack of a better term, revote the issues from the October 20th meeting. I had communicated with the board here through email, my concerns as far as, just as from a protocol standpoint, everybody's on the same page, we're following the same rules, so forth. And it's not changing an outcome. That was already agreed upon in the previous meeting last month. However, I went through and by the ordinance and statute, this is a majority of members holding office is required to pass any ordinance. Not just finance.
Right.
Okay, because there's and, which is an important conjunction at that point. And I watched the video. And then now we had 3 trustees, trustee Thomas, trustee Cannelli, trustee Hoff, and President Bo. And trustees Hoff and Thomas voted yes to the language. Trustee Cannelli abstained, and President Bo was not called to vote. So it seems to me that there's actually no majority there possible if we are requiring a majority of members, not just the members present.
Right.
So if I could get an additional clarification on that, I would appreciate it.
I'll stand to that. I voted. That was specifically the vote, whereas we sat looking at it, where it was 2-0-1. I wasn't sure how to read it, so we're looking up abstentions afterwards. And so I said, for the sake of, I'm not sure how this is going, but to cover our.
If I needed, I recall,
I said
if
to
I
cover our bases.
needed to vote,
Yeah.
I would vote.
No, I said, if I need to vote, I'm voting yes. So that counted to, so it's 3-0-1. That was the numbers that Attorney Schuster and I were discussing. So on that one, we had all 4 votes. Then seeing the other votes where it was 3-0. Because it was so clearly in the affirmative, I didn't think the 4th vote, me being president, was needed.
I think
Not realizing it was the
It's
vote.
not looking at changing an outcome, it's making
Yeah.
sure we're following the,
We've-
you know. Because when we start getting loose there, it starts to fall apart everywhere else.
We're on right away. Thank you. Like personally learned. All right, we have Deb Vernon next, please.
Hello, my name is Debbie Vernon. We live at 821 Locust Drive in Sleepy Hollow. My husband Pete and I have lived here for 23 years, a resident and a homeowner. I'm a retired local government accountant, 16 years in Illinois and 4 in Wisconsin. I decided to do the following 5 items. Most of these have been discussed previously, but not all of them. I feel that these are important and the implementation will make Sleepy Hollow better for the residents and to be more transparent for the village as a whole. The first one, the attorney to be at every board meeting to make sure that all ordinances, rules, voting motions are all in order and also available to provide any legal counsel if it does come up and is needed. I know that there would be an additional hours of Attorney Schuster's time. But I think it would be well worth it to make sure things are done on an orderly basis. Number 2, a town hall meeting. This was mentioned by President Bo during her campaign. And I also had some really good discussions about this with some other residents when planning a meeting for the market in the Hollow, which was in spring 2025. So it would be really great to get something, a town hall meeting set up. Number 3, packets of the board meetings before the meetings. This has been brought up several times, and the board is working on this. It is being posted after the meeting within a week or so, so I thank you to whoever is doing that. But we'd really like to see it before the meeting, so residents can look through this. And also, a lot of communities do what's called a staff report. It would be a written staff report that would come from department heads. It could be the village engineer, Department of Public Works, finance director. And what it does is it kind of lays out the details, the background of the issue. And it's all written on a document, recommendations, cost, budget, amount, etc. I feel this will help, so all relative information is presented so that the residents and all the board members are aware of the entire issue all before voting. Number 4, Sleepy Hollow Village Facebook. It would be great if it could get an update. And it could help really engage the community, and then also provide relevant information to residents. So before I came here today, I went to the Facebook group, and the most recent post is 12/16/2024, one post. The one before that is 3/23/24, one post. And before that is March 2nd, 2023. Would really be great that if we could do better. Most communities, villages have those things, and it's a lot of information. The chief was the other day was talking about things we putting in flyers, you know, for kids for the dash. Was it the monster? I don't remember what it was for exactly now, but they could be posted all on that Facebook. And I think times have changed now, and it would be a good opportunity to engage with the residents. The last one, number 5. A financial presentation of the village by the finance director, administrator at every board meeting. And this could be in the staff report that he does during the meeting, which is basically a snapshot and a narrative showing the Sleepy Hollow's financial condition, the statements, actual versus budget, balance sheet accounts, specifically the cash on hand and liabilities. And as the auditors talked today, the fund balances that are reserved for capital projects. And this would be reserved, which means they're for something, and unreserved. Along with specific funds that are being accumulated for infrastructure for roads and water and sewer. And that's something very important for the village. It would be great if those were provided at the monthly board meeting. And then I don't know how, but I would like a follow-up of some of these questions. So who should I contact?
Actually, I was just gonna ask you really quickly, of the 5 that you just listed, I have first attorney at each meeting, second town hall meeting, 3 packets before the meetings. Was your written staff report, was that
I
part
can
3 or was that
write it in
4?
that-
Okay,
yeah,
so then I
that
think
was
5th then was the financial presentation.
4 documents.
Honestly, most everything here we're already working on, and the 5th one was new to me, so once we have some stuff we can give you feedback on, we will do that.
And the 5th one I mentioned is the finance committee.
Yeah, I said that's just the new one for me, but yeah, all the other 4 we're working on, so.
Okay, and then we'll just kind of have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we can start implementing it.
Okay, all right.
Would it be possible to update from meeting to meeting where we're at with these 5?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, I've also made a note.
Great, thanks. All right, any other public comments? Did you get a chance to sign in? All right, thank you. Trustee reports, roads, parks and streets, Mr. Trustee Canali.
Okay, so before we do road, parks and streets, there've been some changes in the SNAP benefits. And so, I do spend some time at the fish food pantry, if anybody's interested in making any kind of donations, be it food, canned food, or a monetary donation, that would be great. We've seen our numbers increase quite a bit over just the last few days. So, side note, that has something to do with roads and parks, so I'm back to roads and parks. The Public Works Group has spent several hours outlining where our sewers are, so that when MetroNet goes to work on the east side of town, they know where our sewer lines are. So they've been spending days working on that. The speed sign that we purchased has been in place and will be activated shortly. There's some training that will be taking place. And then on the discussion that we had last week or last meeting regarding e-bikes, e-cycles, etc. I did have a conversation with Suzanne Ness, and she told me that the discussion that the state is perhaps going to be for next summer before that we'll hear anything about that. But she did provide me with several other websites for additional information, which I've shared with the chief, and of course he already had it. So I just loaded up his inbox. And that is all that I have.
Thank you. Finance, trustee Hoff.
I would just like to thank Eugene Van and Sharon Lawson and the staff for the excellent audit results that we've just completed. It sure is comforting to know that we are flush and that there are no peculiarities involved in any of our financial statements. So I think that is a big thing to say. And again, thank you, Eugene, for all your hard work along with your staff. That's all I have.
Thank you. I echo those sentiments. Thank you very much. Water and sewer, trustee McGuire is not here. There's something about water and sewer. All right, police and public safety, trustee Diatley, please.
A couple of things. Wanted to announce that we did have our first meeting of the Police and Public Safety Advisory Committee tonight. Gene Tenhauser, Jeff Kreisel, Andy Horn, and Bill Hanselman are the committee members. It was our first introductory meeting, so we will have more to come, but it was a very good meeting, and I look forward to some good things coming out of that. So thank those people for their dedication. And, you know, like I said, a lot of good things on the table right now. So, Chief, you have any things you want to add with?
I have the tickets for the Shop with a Cop. You can stop by Village Hall or to the police department if you're interested in contributing. They're $5 a piece or 6 for 20 or 5 for 20. My math's bad, cop math. The other thing is I like to share success stories about where we're spending our money. We had a hit and run crash that occurred earlier in the month of October. We got some information to investigate. I was able to go back to our flock cameras. We identified not only a suspect, but a suspect vehicle with the with information that would allow us to bring the subject in to have a discussion. So we're hoping to because of flock cameras, we'll be able to bring that case to a successful conclusion. I'd like to share those that let you know that in town it will pay out for us, and it's already starting to. So,
Was that a pedestrian or another car?
it was another car. It was a hit and run that occurred at one of the intersections in town, and so we were able to use the cameras to identify when the vehicle was here.
Chief, do you know when the speed
Sign.
is going to be active?
Yeah, so it's been installed. Kyle got it installed. Told me how heavy it was to put it in. So it's not going to be moved around. There is an onboarding requirement that you have to go through. It's a training that we have to do. The earliest one that can get us into is the 10th of November, right? Yeah. November 10th. We'll do that, and sure, as soon as we go through that training, it'll be turned on and ready to go. It's charged, it's ready to go. So interesting.
Thank you very much.
I also noticed, excuse me, that there's been a police presence on Randall Road. Anything to share?
Other than a number of tickets being issued, no, we've been much more active out in Randall Road. Randall Road's tough because when you're out there in the afternoon, when the traffic is really flowing, it's tough to make traffic stops on Randall Road. But the officers have been out there kind of in that direction, trying to knock it down a little bit, but
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Buildings and environment, trustee Schatzberger.
Just shortly, you covered a lot of it in your president's report, so we did have, I mean, since there were only 5 of us, we had a pretty successful haul to the burn pile. Someone said they were going to report us. So
I wasn't there for that.
So Jen was able to let them know that we had permission to do it. Very thankful for Jen and her husband coming with their trailer. But in clearing, we were able to save 3 little oak trees, and we surrounded them with little plastic bottles, so hopefully the deer won't come and destroy them. And we also found a beautiful bed of wild violets. So very happy about that, and a bunch of butterfly weed. So looking forward to doing some more of that clearing, and I will be working with Kyle about the herbicide. It's shaving down as low as we can and putting the herbicide on it to stop them from coming back. And then we were trying to pull, there were a lot of saplings, so as we were going along, we pulled a lot of the saplings out as well. So,
Folks, if you have any need to get anything off your chest or you're frustrated about anything in life, come out on Saturday. It is wonderful. At one point, bless their hearts, Jen's husband and Jim, Rhonda's husband, were both trying to help me with a honeysuckle that I was hauling out. I said, I am a dachshund with a 10-foot stick. Let me have my fun right now. And it's just, you're hauling them out of there. So yeah, it's a very good cathartic therapeutic. You're getting fresh air.
What time are you guys doing it on Saturday?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
So.
But honestly, anytime, 8 to noon. Yeah. 8 to like 11:30, wrapping up around them, getting the last gone away. So
And you feel strong carrying trees.
you do.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you putting them in the burn pile this time?
I'm
When are you
gonna,
gonna burn them?
well, we're gonna speak to Kyle about that. We're gonna see if we're gonna do smaller burn piles. That's why we kept it a little smaller this weekend. We weren't exactly sure where to go. We wanted to work out some of the kinks. So, and then I haven't had a chance to speak to Kyle yet today. This is the first I saw him, was this meeting. So we will discuss and then strategize moving forward. So,
The burn pile's not open,
what's that?
but the burn pile is not open.
It is not
No,
open.
Not open to the public.
Yes.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah.
Chief.
Because somebody, I will appreciate that one of the residents was very good about letting Jen know that she was violating village. Like, you can't do that. And she's like, I know, I shouldn't, but we can. So thank you. So I appreciate
Are
people's
you
attention.
putting the chain?
Chain is.
That for the,
Yeah.
yeah, it's up.
We just came from.
You just took it down for the morning of.
No, we
We
went
didn't
around
take it
it.
down.
They drove
You did?
They drove around.
The village
You
president
really
has a
can't probably
key.
Go into the gully and you get
Just
stuck.
drove across the field.
Okay. Oh, from the fire department, I see. Never mind.
Chains can't keep us down. It was Jen and her husband.
There are videos on pictures on both Facebook pages. So you can see how much we did.
Yeah.
Is the pile bigger than it was for
I
Halloween?
think so.
It sure seems like.
You just did a little.
It's still so green, so it's still very buoyant.
Yeah.
I would have wanted to jump into it, but for the thorns on buckthorn, and we did to get some of those, but yeah, it was when Rhonda and I were trying to push some stuff into, there's a good picture of us like smack dab in the middle, and it's just surrounded by.
Okay.
Really cool.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So anything else, Rhonda?
That's all I have for today.
Thank you. We'll see you all on Saturday, the 8th. Buildings and zoning, trustee Thomas.
Couple things I wanna, Deb, I think it was you that posted on Facebook about the different flags that were out for the breakdown of all the stuff, and it was very helpful, and I thank you for posting that. I wanted to let people know that myself and a couple other people were out walking, and we just stopped and talked to the folks that are putting the flags in and the paint and stuff. And it was a very educational chat with them. You know, it was 30 minutes. We stopped, we talked to them, they explained what the different flags were, what the paint was, that it's water soluble, why they were trying to do it. They were not doing walking through people's gardens. They were putting flags in. If people's gardens were there, it's because they put it over places that needed to be marked. So, but they were very helpful, and, you know, I hope people will ask them. They were really nice folks to talk to and explained everything. So it was a good thing. The other thing I have a
For
question.
clarification, was that USIC or MetroNet?
USIC, because they're trying to get everything done because MetroNet is coming in really fast behind them because of weather and stuff like that. So they want to get it done and get everything cleaned up. So that was what they were talking to us about. So the other question I have, you mentioned about the sheds committee, is that or subcommittee, is that? I thought that the board had to agree on a committee or approve a committee, and then you can do that, or,
It'd be coming, yeah, like I said, it wouldn't be starting until January.
right, so that'll be forthcoming.
Oh, yeah,
For
yeah.
us too.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Just trying to get we're figuring over things over November and December during holiday parties. You're having a glass of wine, you ask your neighbor, how do you feel about sheds? You have a heart conversation, you know.
Yeah.
It's,
I saw the post and I was just surprised by it because I had not heard anything about it, so.
yeah, that post went up much faster than I had asked him to do, because we met yesterday afternoon.
Right.
All right,
That's it.
and thank you. All right, moving on to old business, we are going back then to those new motions for clarification and transparency. So item number 1, can I have a motion for discussion and motion to approve the October 20th, 2025 warrants in the amount of $144,082.93.
So moved.
Second,
That's Hoff. Moved by Hoff, seconded by Thomas. Any comments, yeah, any comments, questions, or discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Schatzberger. Aye. Trustee Connelly.
Aye.
Trustee Diatley.
Aye.
Trustee Ha.
Aye.
Trustee Thomas.
I,
All in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Moving on to number 2, discussion and motion to approve Shop with a Cop donation request in the amount of $200.
So moved.
Moved by Schatzberger,
Second.
seconded by Diatley. Any comments, questions, or discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Ha.
Aye.
Trustee Thomas.
I,
Trustee Connelly.
Aye.
Trustee Diatley.
Aye.
Trustee Schatzberger.
Aye.
Thank you. And lastly, discussion and motion to approve the ordinance granting a variance of the side yard setback requirement of section 819A of the village code to allow for construction of a deck at 521 Stevens Court in the R1 residential zoning district in the village.
So
Move-
Second.
Moved by Connelly, seconded by Diatley. Any comments, questions, or discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Schatzberger. Aye. Trustee Hoff.
Aye.
Trustee Thomas.
I,
Trustee Diatley.
Aye.
Trustee Connelly.
All in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Thank you, everybody, for that exercise and clarifying those votes. All right, now we're moving on to new business. Item A, discussion and motion to approve the purchase of road salts. Kyle, would you like to just address that briefly? Oh, actually, can I get a motion first? Motion and second?
So moved, Diatley.
second,
Moved by Diatley, seconded by Thomas.
So to go back, the old board approved the village to go with the state bid. Every March, that's when they solicit us, or every municipality that wants to participate. We don't get the price until October, so this kind of works backwards, but this year, the salt came in at $74.09 a ton. We have to order a minimum of 440 tons, so I'm asking the board to approve the purchase order for $32,599.60.
All right. Any comments, questions, or discussion from the rest of the board?
we have salt from last year, right?
Yes,
Any idea of how many?
you didn't see my note? We have about 280 tons in the salt dome.
And-
If we purchase that, is there a resale market? either with. landscapers or
Yeah,
plows?
if we have a winter where we get hit really hard with snow and people are running out of salt, but the problem is nobody's taking salt. 10 years ago, we had East Dundee buy some of our excess salt.
Okay,
Nobody has room for salt because they're all on the same boat we are. You have to order a minimum.
oh, so
If
everybody.
you don't meet your minimum, they charge you per ton per day to store it at down by the Illinois River, at their facility. So no one has room for salt.
And in the past, this program has, we buy the salt at such a better price than you can just out on the open market.
Right. We've done
So-
both. We've tried both.
We've tried both, and it pays to buy it through this program because it's so much less than
Well, I
it is.
understand that.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I just wondered if we end up another 300,000.
Yeah.
Is there,
I've been usually through history, 15 years ago, we used to order 80% of 800 tons. Then I bumped it down to 700 tons. Now I'm at 500 tons. They say it's gonna be a higher than average snowfall this winter, but they've said that the last 2-3 winters.
Right.
So it's a guessing game.
But when do they deliver it, Kyle?
When I order it. So I probably, this would be depending on how December and January go. I'll probably have this till about February, what's in our bin. So they have to deliver it within 7 days of when I order. And you have to order in 25-ton increments. You can't just order 10 tons here. Usually I get to it where I order about 100 tons at a time.
Cause I remember you getting it last summer
Yeah.
after,
Mhm.
and then we stow it away. So it's not, we're out of storage. Didn't seem to be.
No, 2 years ago, I had to move the gravel pile and fill that with salt. Because we had way too much the year prior.
Okay.
so it's kind of wacky, but what about like landscaping companies or smaller places that we could, and I know it's a
They
lot
usually-
to find
well-
these guys, sell it, or transport it, but are there?
If you have a landscaping company with a commercial properties account where they do a lot of commercial
Yeah,
properties,
yeah.
they usually buy the pre-treated salts, blue. And they have their own contract. That's the problem with, the only issue I have with the state bid, while the price is great and that includes shipping and everything. The fact that they want you to join the bid solicitation in March before we even know what the rest of winter, because sometimes we get all the way up to end of March, we get the ice storms.
Right.
And they want you to put how much you want for the following year. So it's kind of a catch-22, but I feel like we've done pretty good. Yes, there's been years where we've had excess salt, but usually we're right in the ballpark of where we need to be.
Okay,
And it's always nice to have a little bit left over.
Yeah.
For the next year.
okay.
Any other comments, discussion? Hearing none. So this is a motion to approve the purchase of road salt at $74.09 a ton, which comes to $32,599.60. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Schatzberger.
Aye.
Trustee Thomas.
Aye.
Trustee Diatley.
Aye.
Trustee Hawk.
Aye.
Trustee Cannelli.
I,
All in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Thank you. We also have from Public Works, discussion and motion to approve an ordinance authorizing the sale or disposal of certain property owned by the village, which is a Bobcat walk-behind mower. So since we didn't have our computers much, I'm gonna ask Kyle to go and brief us on that as well really quickly before we ask for a motion.
We bought a walk-behind mower a couple of years ago. We bought it used. And someone wants to purchase it from us. We don't really use it anymore now that we have a stand-on 54-inch mower. It's basically the same cut. This one's what we have now is better and easier than what we use that for. The reason we got it is we didn't have two mowers. We just had one 72-inch mower. So then we got the walk behind. It was only $1,000. Kind of a no-brainer.
I'll wait for discussion.
How much are, sorry.
Do I have a motion?
so
Cannelli, second,
Second.
moved by Cannelli, seconded by Diatley. Trustee Hoff, did you have a comment?
No.
No, I was going to.
And I understand. Trustee Hoff, do you have a comment at this time?
Just that I'm gonna abstain.
Thank you. Yeah. Continue, trustee Schatzberger.
I was just wondering, how much, are they offering for this one?
500.
550, so
Yeah.
we have a
Oh,
book, it's a
okay.
book value of 550, and it's actually the fair market value of it.
Yeah, that's great, okay.
And in the interest of full disclosure with conflict of interest, that's why I asked trustee Hoff, he has expressed interest in it at the market, at this value that we've put forth. So because of his interest, he's not participating in discussion, nor will he even give a vote, so. So I had to go before discussion started. I kind of cleared that with you. Any other comments, question, discussion? All right, hearing none. Roll call vote, please, not including trustee Hall.
Trustee Connolly,
Aye.
trustee Thomas,
Aye.
trustee Schatzberger, aye, trustee Diatley.
Aye.
For affirmative, one abstention, motion passes. Thank you.
Gotta take it tonight.
Well, and in the ordinance, it's left up to the administrator to dispose of, so don't upset Eugene before he sells. All right, moving on to item C. This is,
We don't need a vote on this. This is just a matter of information.
okay, I thought we wanted a vote to go in, okay.
That we haven't gotten to the point of agreeing to it. Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
We'll just have a little discussion. Do you want to? So there's a discussion to have the village participate in drafting an intergovernmental agreement with, it would be effectively with the four villages, Carpentersville, West Dundee, East Dundee, and ourselves. And then we would, under Carpentersville's leadership, would enter into another IGA with the Dundee Township Mental Health Board. And I'll just take it away, Chief and Eugene.
So what's happening is Carpentersville has a therapist, not a social worker. So this person is very limited in what they can do. The Dundee Township Mental Health Board wants to give Carpentersville a grant for $120,000 to hire a social worker that would then work on some long-term issues, but this would not be for every type of mental health issue. It's just only certain types of categories. So this person would be an employee of the village of Carpentersville. But there's going to be excess time that they're going to have. So what we would then have is an intergovernmental agreement between us and Carpentersville to avail ourselves to this person's services. The first year, the mental health board would cover it 100%, and then there's talk that they'll cover it, a portion of it for the next 2 years. The idea behind it is we'll be able to gauge how much use everybody is using the person, and then be able to come up with a dollar value of what each village would contribute. At this point, we would have no idea how much we would have a use of the person. So it's kind of hard to put a dollar value on that. And then every year we would reevaluate based on the past year's use. So Carpentersville's still talking to the mental health board about, getting this intergovernmental agreement established. And once that is done, they have to hire the person. And then once that is done, then we'll have the intergovernmental agreement between us and Carpentersville.
And they are looking to push it so that it starts implementing by the end of the year, beginning of January. For those of you who are aware, I was on the Dundee Township Mental Health Board in 2021. It was formed shortly after, it was voted on in 2020. And then I think I was on 21 or 22. This has always been something that I've understood the Dundee Township Mental Health Board wanted to do, was to work on getting a shared caregiver between the 4 different communities. This ordinance or this IGA that they're offering is nothing like what I thought it was going to be, or what we've ever discussed and what the board had discussed when I was on it in the past. So this has changed dramatically in about a week, 2 weeks. So I would like to pay attention, kind of exactly what's going on. I would encourage everybody to ask questions. The original understanding that I ever had with the mental health board for having the shared social worker was specifically to respond to first responses. Where police are going out and it would be better to have a social worker in those circumstances, make those kinds of assessments, maybe have some follow-up. But really for emergency circumstances and this long-term care, I'm finding curious. So I'd like to learn more about it. I'm very hesitant right now with the way what I've learned of it so far. And I just encourage everybody else to.
Yeah, that would be
see what
my
happens.
concern is to, I know you mentioned the categories that they would cover. What,
Right.
what are those categories?
It'd be, you know, like a true mental health illness, alcohol, drug dependence, that kind of thing. So as they gave the example, the family that perished in the fire, I guess there was some, you know, sibling or, you know,
Mhm.
a sibling group that was remaining, that actually would not be covered by this type of a situation. One of the other situations, West Dundee was not really on board with it, but when they found out that it was gonna be covered 100%, this is okay, they were willing to give it a try. But the idea behind it is that they need more of a regional type, group, and, Quadcom, I guess, is working on this type of a more regional, may be the better answer, but this is what we at least can start out with and see what works.
And part of the issue with Quadcom is that this being regional only covering Dundee Township, we've got two other members of our, of Quadcom that are not in Dundee Township, Barrington Hills and South Barrington. So as an executive committee, we've been discussing this issue as well and having a shared services agreement to cover a social worker from Quadcom that would be dispatched to our dispatch center. So it's being discussed on our end as well. So it's a needed service, no question about it.
My concern is that, you know, I would only want to be paying for services that were provided through or requested through our police department. I would not want to be paying for services requested by the fire department.
Right.
Because they have their own funding source.
So is there something that we could read? To
We
get
don't
a
have
better,
anything. I have, let me see what I can find.
okay,
Once they start drafting some of the IGA, we'll have a better idea. I'm gonna. Yeah, when Eugene and I started talking about just last week, I think, the week before, after they had a meeting about it, it had drastically changed from anything I knew of it before. In fact, the original ideas was to be able to fund for the villages, being the township as an umbrella to help cover the gaps and make it something for the whole township. And knowing that some of the smaller villages, namely Sleepy Hollow and Gilbert's and Hampshire, might not have had the funds in order to have this additional asset on their police and fire, and maybe didn't need one full time. That's why being able to share one where, and I'll say after, let's see, it's 6 months of office, I'd say there's been 3 calls just with me specifically where it would have been very beneficial had we had a social worker. There are 3 domestic issues, and I'm sure you've had plenty of domestic cases. So yeah, I think this is something that there is a need. It's just a matter of now we need to figure out what changed and what I'm curious what their mentality is for this approach instead.
I think it's worth exploring.
Yeah.
I just emailed everybody,
Okay.
what I had gotten for it.
Okay, thank you.
And that's the other advantage with the executive committee is the executive committee for Quadcom is police and fire chiefs.
Right.
So it's all the police chiefs, all the fire chiefs from all of the stakeholders that we deal with. So the discussion won't be one-sided regardless, so.
Thank you. All right, no motion on that, so we'll move on. Anything else?
No.
All right, moving on to letter D, discussion and motion to approve the 2026 health and liability insurance renewal for staff. Can I have a motion?
so
Second.
Moved by Schatzberger, seconded by Thomas.
We got the renewal rates for the health for our employees. It's coming in at basically 15% increase. They did a competing bid with another healthcare, and that was at 27%. So there really isn't another good option. They could knock some, increased deductibles and co-pays and out-of-pocket maximums, but all we would be saving is like 5%, and it would be a significant increase of what they would be doing. The other situation is with, the dental, that will have a 5% increase. They were originally looking at a 7%, but they got them down to just a 5% increase. And no change in the vision, disability or, life insurance. The problem with that is there are other dental plans, but they don't provide the vision, life or disability. So, we would, if we went with the other companies for the dental, then they would increase the vision, life and disability payments, so we wouldn't be saving anything.
So is the staying with the same carrier?
This is staying with the same carrier.
What was the total dollar, Eugene? Increase, what does that work out to? I mean, there was so much information in the packet.
Yep.
I couldn't decipher that.
Okay, the renewal, there's 4 plans, and then we've got participants in each one of the 4 different types of plans. Plan number 1, it would be $63,000 per year. Plan 2 is $49,000 per year, and plan 4 is $58,000 per year.
That's for the village.
That's for the village, yes. And then the employees pay a portion of that back to the village.
And there's people enrolled in each tier.
Each one of those types of plans. So, there's like, let's see, 2 PPO plans and an HMO plan. So the most of the people are in a PPO plan, or actually, the most expensive plan is that one PPO plan, and it looks like we only have 1 employee in that. I guess the option we could do is to force everybody into one plan, one type of plan, but generally what we have talked about is giving the employees a little bit more latitude, considering we don't,
Yeah,
we do not pay market wages.
I agree, they should be able to choose which tier.
It's the one benefit that we can offer them.
And the 63,000, is that per employee?
That is, I think that's toward.
Annual premium per
An-
plan.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? There's 1 family and 1 single employee, that one. Plan 2, there's an employee and a spouse for 2 of them. 2 employees, and then we have 4 in HMO, we have 4 employees only, and then 1 employee and spouse.
Any other comments, question, discussion?
I still would like to hear what the total dollar is that we spend for health coverage for all of our employees in the village. Do we have that total?
It's split between all the different funds. I can get that for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, any further comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Connolly,
Aye.
trustee Diatley,
Aye.
trustee Hoff,
Aye.
trustee Schatzberger,
Aye.
trustee Thomas.
Aye.
All affirmative, no negative, motion passes. Thank you, everybody. The next item was brought to me by Administrator Van, discussion and motion to close the doors to the public on federal holidays. I'll just say, I came in on Columbus Indigenous Day the other day, and I just looked at Sharon and said, "What are you doing here?" She said, "We're working." I said, "We're not closed." So, and then sure enough, I came in, and about a week later, Eugene mentioned, "Hey, should we be closing for federal holidays?" So, Eugene's proposal was that I think there's 2 federal holidays we don't close the doors for.
There's 4.
4, okay. This would still be a work day, but just let them close the doors, since the presumption is, it's usually slow anyways. There aren't many people coming to the village, with the presumption that it's closed. Let them have those couple of days off, just quiet, being able to sit at the desk and knock out some work. Anything else added on that?
So basically what it is it's a zero cost to the village. The employee would then have the choice to work or not work. We wouldn't have to worry about, if everyone wanted to take off for that day, they could, but they would just use their own time to do it. We wouldn't have to worry about having someone here to answer the phones or the doors. Generally on the federal holidays, Zoom or closed. Do we get people once in a while, but it would also be if the employee chooses to work kind of like a makeup day where they can concentrate on their job instead of answering the phones or answering the doors and stuff like that.
What are the 4 holidays? Columbus Day, President's Day?
It would be Martin Luther King's, Juneteenth, Columbus Day, and Veterans Day.
I'd have no problem.
Yeah. I assumed we already were closed, so.
All right, can I get a motion?
So.
Do we don't need to vote, we just decided, don't we? Do we need a motion?
Sure.
All right, can I get a motion to close the doors to the public on federal holidays?
So
Oh, there's 4 that you've named.
The fourth.
Oh, on the four additional holidays, Martin Luther King Day, Juneteenth, Columbus/Indigenous Day, and then Veterans Day.
so moved.
Moved by Schatzberger, seconded by Thomas. Comments, questions, discussion?
I have a question.
Yes.
If one of my employees wants it off, can I deny it?
Well,
Or can they
we're
claim-
talking about the lobby here. We're not talking about.
Okay,
Public
so
Works.
Public Works is,
We're not talking about Public Works. We're not
Okay.
talking about the police department. We're talking about the
Gotcha.
lobby for.
when you said if someone wants to take the day, they can use their time.
Right, so that's for the.
Just for
administration
administrative,
stuff.
gotcha.
But your guys can use their time whenever they want, whether.
Sure, but if it's, if they have a conflict with scheduling and stuff.
Right.
Can I deny it or can they claim it's a federal holiday?
No. That's a separate issue.
Okay.
That's a separate issue. And we're just talking about closing the lobby to the public.
All right, any other discussion?
Employee manual.
Right, the employee manual will cover that type of situation.
Okay.
Okay, for this.
All right, it's not an ordinance. All right, no further discussion. All those in favor of closing the lobby doors to the public on the 4 federal holidays listed, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? All in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Thank you all. And discussion and item F, discussion and motion to consider the resident request for reimbursement. Now, in light of our email issues, did everybody get a chance to read this?
No.
Okay, would you like to summarize, please?
What happened when Kyle was on vacation? is there was a hydrant flushing that was posted. Subsequent to the hydrant flushing, the house that was closest to the hydrant is making the claim that the sediment from the hydrant flushing backed up into her house. Okay. She is claiming that we owe her the money to have the plumbers flush her lines. I don't believe that this is possible. I believe what happened is that this is her own sediment from her own lines that was disturbed. So what happens with the hydrant flushing is that the sediment is not going to flow backwards. You know, it's going to go out where the water flow is. So what probably happened is that the water pressure in her house was reduced, and the reduction loosened the sediment, but that is her own sediment from her own pipes. That so it's like when you turn off the water at your main in your house, and you turn it back on, you know, you have to clean all the little filters and stuff like that, all the aerators. And so that's basically what happened, but she's blaming the village for that. If we go down this road of trying to reimburse her for it, we would be subject to every sort of claim. And now what she is, she wasn't happy with the original amount. Now she's tacked on another almost $400 onto her original request and wants us to do it.
What's the total she's asking for now?
It's about $548. I explained to her that this is not the village's fault. It's not the village's responsibility. It was posted out there that there was hydrant flushing. That I tried to explain to her that, the sediment is their own sediment. She says, well, I want you to take it to a higher authority. So I'm taking it to you guys.
Just sort of context too, we flushed all the dead ends over a 6-week period throughout town. So we flushed over 45 fire hydrants throughout the entire town. She's not the only one whose tap is right next to that hydrant on that cul-de-sac. But she's the only one that we've had an issue with of all the 45 dead ends that we flushed. Just some context to it.
Okay.
We also didn't fully flush the main, we were just flushing the end of that pipe.
My concern is if we do it for one, we have to do it for others, and
Yeah.
I don't think that. Then we're setting a precedence, and I don't.
Yeah.
Think. we
Did she
should
have
do
any
that.
proof for something from the plumber? Or
She's got pictures and, she's contacted 3 plumbers who said, well, if you open up the hydrant too fast. Obviously, we're not gonna open up the hydrant too fast
Right.
because we have an issue with water main breaks, so we open it up too fast. Well,
Yeah.
and the thing is that. If the water's turned off in her house. That water is gonna be holding back any sediment.
Mhm.
It's not gonna flow into her house, it's gonna flow out the hydrant.
Right, as you said, the flush goes out, it doesn't go
It
in.
doesn't go backwards.
Yeah,
And she's the only resident.
And
that-
she's the only, yeah.
I would say no to reimbursement.
No,
No.
Can I have, what we would need would be a motion to deny the resident request for reimbursement. Or a motion to approve the reimbursement request.
I motion to deny the resident reimbursement request.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Moved by trustee Thomas, seconded by trustee Diatley to deny the resident request for reimbursement for plumbing invoice. Comments, questions, discussion?
We already did.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All affirmative, no negative, motion passes. Thank you, Jean, if you'll let her know. And then actually, folks, we are at the end of our agenda, except for the executive session for section 2C3. There will be no other items after this, so I think rather than moving to that room, we will have a motion to leave for the executive session, and then we will ask our guests to depart, so we can just stay here, go through our executive session and then wrap up.
Well, we had some new guests that I haven't seen before,
I was
so
gonna
thank
say-
you for attending.
Yes.
Thank you for coming. You're welcome.
All right, can I have a motion to move into executive session for public official section 2C3?
so moved Diatley.
Second.
Moved by Diatley, seconded by, which one else? Nelly?
So that's the second agenda item is
Oh.
not going to proceed with the review.
I'm sorry, do
of
we
the
have the?
Executive session now.
Did you say you got them? From last week? Or the last executive session meeting?
This would be the semi-annual.
Oh, no, I thought we had to approve her minutes from the last meeting.
Oh, is that all that is?
That's gonna be a three one.
Okay, then, okay. Yes, and it is just for the public officials, section 2C3. That was moved by Diatley and Spinelli. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. No, all affirmative, no negative, motion passes. So we're breaking into executive session. Thank you all for joining us.
It's hard to see.
If I can have a roll. Camera back on for a second.
Okay.